From KUNC and the NPR network, this is In the NOCO, a daily slice of Northern Colorado news and happenings. It's Tuesday, January 9th. I'm Erin O'Toole. Colorado kids are missing a lot of school. This past academic year, nearly 1 in 3 was chronically absent. That's over 250,000 students. And if you're wondering why that is, KUNC's Leigh Paterson has been looking into it, and she's here now to talk about what's going on and what administrators are planning to do about it. Hey, Leigh.
Hi, Erin.
So this sounds like an issue that affects a lot of students and their families. I mean, we're talking about 250,000 young people across the state. Before we get into what's driving this, let's explain the term a little bit. What does it mean to be chronically absent?
Yeah, so to be chronically absent means that you've missed 10% of the school year or more, which might not sound like a lot, but I think, the days can kind of easily add up. And it includes both excused and unexcused absences. The percentage of chronically absent students in Colorado has been inching up over the years. These numbers were down slightly this past academic year, but it's a growing problem here as it is, across the country. And I think the reason this matters is that missing class now can have big impacts on your life down the road. I talked with Johan Liljengren from the Colorado Department of Education, and he talks about that here.
Students with low attendance are more likely to fail courses, more likely to drop out. And the flip side of it, kids with high attendance are much more likely to stay on track and graduate.
So dropping out of school is linked to a variety of outcomes: poorer job prospects, poorer health outcomes, an increased involvement in the criminal justice system. So chronic absenteeism, again, missing 10% of the school year or more, puts students at a higher risk for all of that.
Well, given these pretty dire outcomes, why are a lot of kids skipping school?
Yeah, there are a lot of reasons, and it'll vary district to district, but some of the big ones are absences due to health and wellness issues. So that could be everything from struggling with mental health to having the flu. There are also staffing issues, the bus driver shortage, for example. That means some kids are having trouble getting to school. Some students have family obligations. They're looking after younger siblings or sick grandparents. And, lastly, and I heard about this over and over in my reporting, more students are feeling disengaged from school, particularly after being out of the building for so long during the pandemic. Mental health, of course, is a big piece of this. I heard over and over from counselors and administrators that there are students too depressed to get out of bed and students who are just too anxious to come to school, period.
Okay. Well, Leigh, your story focused on 2 northern Colorado school districts, one in Summit County and then one in Larimer County. What did you learn? How are they addressing this problem?
In Summit School District, around 50% of students this past academic year were chronically absent. So it's a really big issue there. I visited Summit High School in Breckenridge last month, and I sat in on something called a Tier 3 meeting. These are for students with the most absences.
So just want to be really clear about the intention of this meeting. It's not to make you feel bad, but I just want to hear from you.
We're listening to Dave DeRose here. He's the dean of students at Summit High School, and he's meeting with a 16-year-old named Gisela, along with Gisela's mom. During this meeting, the teenager, she's wearing a hoodie. It's pulled up over her face, and there's tears streaming down her cheeks.
I don't want to be here.
She's saying, I don't want to be here. So the background here is that this young woman had recently been through a breakup. She was getting bullied. She was getting made fun of. And so she just stopped coming to school. The purpose of this meeting is to figure out why and help her come back. So Dave DeRose, the dean of students, along with the school's interventionist, they're trying to get her to finish the day. So they're offering to give her a hall pass, to pick up her lunch for her, to find her a place to eat lunch, to stay in touch over a messaging app, to get her to finish that Friday. She says no. She promises she'll come back Monday.
Well, it seems like they were really doing a lot to get this particular student to stay.
Yes, I had the same feeling. As I said, attendance is a huge issue here. Many students have jobs. They sometimes work nights. Many are Spanish speakers, and language barriers, in fact, are a major reason why students in this district stop coming to school. The administration recently rolled out an attendance marketing campaign encouraging fewer than 8 absences for the school year. It's launched an attendance team. It's collecting the data. The district's equity director, named Lana Wizar, wrote in an email, quote, "We're doing what we can to create validating environments for students and families, which is not an overnight fix."
No, it certainly isn't. Well, Leigh, what did you learn about chronic absenteeism at Poudre High School?
It's been increasing there, too, over the past several years. Its absenteeism rate was at 36%, so just a bit higher than the state average in Colorado. And in response, one of the things the district is doing is piloting this program called Check and Connect at 2 of the high schools in the district. So essentially, it's pairing chronically absent students, the students who are skipping the most school, with mentors. I talked with a pair of them, Marty DeValk, he's a staff member at Poudre High School, and Jonathan Mars, who is a 16-year-old student. They described the program as basically like hanging out many times a week. They do homework, but they also watch movies. Recently, DeValk had an unassembled shelf sitting in his office.
You came flying into the room every day, like, let's put this together. And it was like, we were passing the directions back and forth. Hey, hand me the screwdriver, and this kind of connect in that way.
Mars says that this relationship has been really helpful for him after he stopped coming to school regularly at some point last year. He says that morning for him can be tough. His mom leaves for work before he leaves for school. He also started high school new to the district. He didn't really know anyone. He didn't feel connected academically, and he started falling behind very quickly.
The homework piles up. It is just a mountain, and once it starts piling up, my work gets slower, and then it starts piling up even larger.
And so far, this pilot program, Check and Connect, Mars says has been useful for him.
When I hang out, it boosts my mood. I'm like, all right, cool, let's go attack some more things in the day. It just makes it easier.
Poudre School District plans to add 2 more Check and Connect pilot sites this spring. And they say for the handful of students who were involved in the pilot, attendance has improved for 2/3 of them.
Okay, that sounds like pretty good progress. So, Leigh, I have to ask, how are the 2 students that you talked to doing?
Jonathan Mars says that his attendance and his grades have improved since he started meeting with his mentor at the beginning of the school year. And then Gisela, the student at Summit High School in Breckenridge, she did not go back to school on Monday after that meeting. But she did go on Tuesday. Dave DeRose, the dean of students, he told me that he stopped by one of her classes and she was smiling.
All right, we will take that little glimmer of hope then. KUNC reporter and senior editor Leigh Paterson, thanks so much for your reporting on this, and thanks for joining me.
You're welcome.
You can find Leigh's work on school absenteeism at kunc.org. And if this issue is affecting you, we want to know about it. Send us a note at noco@kunc.org or call or text us. That number is 970-614-5323. That's it for us today here on In the NOCO. Robin Vincent is our executive producer. I'm Erin O'Toole. We'll be back tomorrow with more of what's happening in Northern Colorado.